Welcome to NCC Unplugged, the podcast from Norwin Christian Church where conversations, community, and culture converge.
Welcome to another episode of NCC Unplugged. I'm guessing from the title of this one, you already know what we're getting into, but I'm excited to introduce to you Mr. Brion Elliott.
Hey, guys.
Brion is joining us today just so we can get to know him a little bit. Brion has come on board with us here at Norwin Christian Church as our worship and tech minister, and we'll talk a little bit about what that title means. But just really want to get to know Brion a little bit today through this podcast. Give us a little bit of an opportunity as a church to get to know you beyond the Sunday announcement. Depending on when you listen to this, we had Brion up about a month or so ago and introduced him to the church family up on stage, and now just kind of in this venue, getting to know you a little bit more personally. And, you know, over the coming course of you being here, we're excited to get to know you and your family and just kind of the things that make you tick and all of that. But this is kind of a jumpstart on that through this podcast. So for those that didn't know, we've been looking for a worship minister for, I think, close to a year here at Norwin. You know, as we continue to grow and as technology changes and just a lot of different reasons why this position, really led by the elders, came to be for a staff position. We have two wonderful volunteers that have been leading it for years and years and years. And, you know, this past Christmas, we had 5 Christmas services. Every week we have 3 regular services, 1 on Thursday, 2 on a Sunday. And so started looking, and I think, Brion, you said on Sunday that our communication with you started all the way back in September.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here like the early days of March. And so just quite a long timeline of that. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But Brion, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? What was early life like for you?
Yeah. So I grew up in Virginia.
Okay.
2-parent household. My dad's pastor, also as an accountant. My mom is in the business world. She works for Canon, the camera company.
Yeah.
So I've always been around them and in the church, very involved since growing up. And ever since maybe middle school-ish, I started getting into worship and just wanted to be serving in the church. So I did worship, was on the usher board, doing youth things, whatever I could get my hands on to help in church. We were a pretty small church growing up, less than 100 people there. So kind of like a family knit. Anybody that's willing to help is there to help. So that's kind of like what my background is in church growing up. I've been to private school all my life. So growing up in Virginia, I started off in a Christian school called Ingleside Baptist Church School. And so grew up there. And then we moved to Woodbridge, which is not far from Alexandria, still in Northern Virginia area. Ended up going to Heritage Christian School. So I've always kind of been in the church area, always been kind of around Christians.
Definitely immersed in it.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's kind of been my upbringing. And then obviously went off to college, still went to Bible school, and just continued on that journey in faith.
Where did you go for that Bible college?
So I started off at Clark Summit University, and then I ended up transferring to Lancaster Bible College, where I finished and got my degree in business administration with a focus in marketing.
Yeah. So is that what brought you up to Pennsylvania then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. So then coming out of college, you're looking for your next step. Where did you find that for you?
So yeah, initially right after college, I went into the marketing field, got digital marketing internships, and then was also into like life insurance sales and whatnot. And then after that, I got an opportunity to work as a director at a nonprofit called City Kids, which is a sports ministry organization focused towards the inner city youth. Cool. Had kids from all over come through the summertime. We teach them about the love of God and just use sports as a vehicle to do that. So that's kind of where I landed after college.
Yeah. So when you were at Lancaster, was there any worship ministries have always been a part of my life? Is this something that I should go into? Kind of what were your internal thoughts with stuff like that? Yeah.
Growing up and seeing ministry and everything, at first I was like, I'm probably not going to land in full-time ministry. It's not kind of where I am. I just want to volunteer. I'm at a church and lead worship. But then closer over the past couple of years, I've been feeling this pull in my heart from God, more and more so that worship is my calling, and to devote my time into that more. Yeah. And so thankfully in my last job, I was able to do worship a lot through that during the summer for the kids, for the adults that I would work with. And then also during the off season, during like the fall and springtime at retreats, and leading worship became my favorite part of the job. It wasn't the most important thing there, but to me, it became the thing that I just immersed myself with. Yeah. And towards the end of the summer, I started feeling more from God that, hey, now it's time to make the shift from ministry outside the church to ministry in the church full time. And so, yeah, that's how I got here.
Really cool. So we're missing one person in the story. Yeah. So where did your current wife, where did you meet her?
Yeah.
Not your current wife. Like you had one before.
Only one wife.
I just mean right now you're married. But okay, so when did you first meet Miranda? I'll just use her name. I don't know why.
Yes, my one and only wife, Miranda.
We'll make that clear.
We met at Clark Summit University. My first year there, I went there for basketball. I was on the team there, and I dislocated my elbow, so I went home for the rest of the semester, came back the next year, and she was there that fall semester that I came back to Clark Summit. We had met, became friends, immediately connected. During the time, we knew that it wasn't the time for us to date, so we just remained friends. And then that very next semester, she had transferred out to go to Geneva. And so we always joke about when we tell people about how we met, it's like, well, God only needed that one semester to get us together. And so that's where we met.
Very cool. Very cool. So the big news that you told the church on Sunday was that you guys are expecting.
Yes.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you as, first time dad? You're like, where's your anxiety level with that? Nervous versus excited and all that?
One of the things that I think about when I told my friends, the first time I told them, they were like, are you really nervous? Like, think you're now responsible for another life. Like just the thought of that makes them nervous. And I was like, because I never really thought about it that way. But no, I'm just really excited for this next chapter. I've always wanted to start a family. So I'm really looking forward to this. Soaking up as much information as I can from anybody and everybody, just asking advice and tips on just the first child, and how that's going to go. I'm just really excited.
Here's my advice from somebody that's been there 3 different times, especially in a church setting, because the people listening and watching have great intentions. And so they'll say, you know what, here's what happened when we had our first child. And they'll tell you some like horrible story of what happened. And they're like, but that doesn't normally happen. We're, one of a million people and blah, blah, blah. And it's a story of how God brought them through. And it could be, great story in the end. But you're like, you hear dozens of these stories. And you're like, oh my goodness, does any child come out normal? Like, is everybody a cone head sort of thing? And they are, like babies are. But so my advice is just, hey, that's great for you. You don't have to take all of that to heart, right? Like God has you on your own journey, and He'll protect you guys and watch you through it. And I know you've probably already experienced that in your life in different ways, but that could be true in childbirth as well too. So tell me a little bit for you and Miranda, what do you guys like to do outside of church? Like what are some hobbies or things that you guys get excited about? Yeah.
When we first started dating, we loved hiking. Miranda's grandparents hiked a lot. They hiked the whole Appalachian Trail.
Oh, nice.
Her grandmother did half of it with like a broken foot.
That's wild.
So we loved hiking, but now it's turning more just walks. So finding time to get out, walk with each other. We love pickleball.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sure, there'll be some people asking about that.
Yeah. Over the past year, we've just fallen in love with pickleball. We have our own net just in case like it's raining outside. We'll go into a gym and just set it up. Yeah. I have all the markers and everything. So we've gotten to pickleball a lot. And we love cooking together also.
Cool.
So those are things that we love doing.
Nice. When it comes to ministry, what so this is your first full-time in church position. Like you said, you've been in churches before, but this is kind of first-time staff position. What are some of the things that raises your anxiety level, kind of like unsure of, right? Because you're taking a step in a certain direction. You're not quite sure what you'll face there yet. What are some of your hesitations with that?
Yeah. I guess the things that I've thought about more so recently is just not knowing what I don't know yet. And just like taking those in strides, and dealing with those moments when they do come up. So just, dealing with the unknown. So when it comes to this being the first full-time worship job, in a church and everything, I do understand where it's at currently, and you guys are at a great spot, and Ken and Kelly have done an amazing job with the worship team, these 31 years. Yeah. And it's just now I'm like, okay, so now coming into a place that's kind of already had their groove and found their spot, how do I help get that to the next level, and take it from there? So just thinking through that, and communicating and working with the rest of the team, try to get on the same page and become not only just a worship team, but more of a worship family, and become a more cohesive unit.
That's cool. Yeah. As churches, sometimes we can be, maybe slow to change or slow to something different. Like you said, the word groove. And so, we found our groove, and that doesn't mean it's right. And so we know some changes are going to happen. We know some different things are going to come. And so for you to find your voice in all of that and your leadership style with all of that, it's a challenge for anybody. But I know you're up to it. On the opposite of that, what are you most excited about when you step into this chapter of your life? Yeah.
So even though I'm introverted, I'm a huge relational person and love just building relationships and getting to know people. So throughout this process of the transition and just my time here at NCC, I'm looking forward to mostly building those relationships and getting to know everybody here. I know it's a lot of names and a lot of different people and personalities, but I'm looking forward to just getting to know each and every person.
Yeah. Cool. Well, do you have any questions for us on this podcast or things you've experienced? So Brian's been in the office for a whole week. Well, so you came in last Monday. So about a week and a day. Yeah. Anything that you've experienced that you're like, what is happening here? This is not what I signed up for, or where's the bathroom in this place? Because there's hallways everywhere in this building.
Yeah. There is a lot going on. Not anything that's made me feel overwhelmed or things that I didn't quite necessarily didn't expect. I was just talking with Matt about this. He was like, so what's something that's new to you here, or whatever? And I was like, something that's not necessarily new that I didn't know coming into this, but realized more once I got into the mix, was just how involved and how many things you guys have going on here at the church in the background, and how much planning has to go into everything so much in advance. It's really amazing what the team does and how much you guys are able to accomplish with just a small team. So that's one of the things that I've really latched onto.
Cool. Well, with that, let's talk a little bit about your job description, exactly what you are going to be doing. Whether he knows it or not. So your role kind of is somewhat in two different areas, though these areas are very connected, and so that's why it makes sense to have these roles connected. One is to be worship minister, which means you're going to be the person leading the music on a Sunday morning. You're planning the service. You're getting that information out to the team. You're scheduling people, you're choosing new songs, we're talking about the new songs, we're seeing what fits where in the service, we're thinking of the themes of the service. And I kind of just switched my language from you to we, because it's you and I together on this thing. Brian and I have control, I don't like that word, oversight, that's a better word, oversight of Sunday morning services. And so when it comes to planning, when it comes to changing themes or sermon series or making sure the songs go along with the themes, all of that is going to be a team effort. And even within what I just described, like you said, there's a lot of background things, so it's setting up the technology for the team on Sunday morning. So when they come, they're ready to play their instruments, right? Because they're plugged into the right places, and just all of that behind the scenes takes a lot of work. Yeah. And then beyond that, you're not just behind the scenes, you're in front of everybody, because you're going to be leading service when it comes to the songs. So that's a major component. And then the second component of the job is kind of the tech director position, which is one that Matt Mastriani had before you come in. And Matt is still sticking around in the church because before Matt's job was kind of two-pronged and now it's just more one-pronged. And so he's able to kind of offload a lot of the Sunday morning tech stuff.
Yeah.
And so even though you're not going to be in the sound booth running sound because you're going to be on stage playing, you're not going to be able to hit the next button on the slides. You still oversee those teams.
Yeah.
You're still in charge of the technology they use, making sure the equipment is the right equipment for the job that's being asked of them, training new volunteers. Like you use that word, worship family, like, okay, how can we mentor and bring some people on to these positions, show people the importance of these positions, live stream that we do on Sundays, another part of it. And so that's why they go so hand in hand, because they're supporting what we're doing on Sunday. And so it makes sense. Hey, the person up there knows what we need when it comes to cords and where to plug in and all that stuff. And so that's going to be part of your job responsibilities. And like I said, Matt is still here. And so Matt's doing a lot of the media stuff that isn't just supporting Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Like, so social media stuff, website stuff, all that type of media that's very vital for a church to have, but not solely just for a Sunday morning service. Like it's not plugging in cords and different things like that. And so, and we've already talked about that. Like some of it has overlap. And one of the things I've noticed when I first came to NCC 13 years ago, close to 13, ministry always has those overlaps. And there's two approaches to it. And the first church I worked at took the approach that, well, we don't want these overlaps. And so we're actually going to silo people. And you just do your thing and report back to me how it's going. And I'll do my thing and I'll tell you how it's going. And we kind of get together every once in a while. We didn't have staff meetings. We didn't go on retreats together. We didn't plan many things together. And so it's like to deny that those mergers exist or where those things overlap. And then I came to Norwin and it was like, okay, I'm the youth minister and I oversee the youth ministry, middle school and high school primarily, but then we also have special events for younger kids and the youth minister does that for younger kids, but I don't do younger kids stuff on Sunday morning because we had somebody else that did Sunday morning stuff. And at first it was kind of an overload for me, but then I realized in those mergers, that's where you have those relationships with our staff members. It's in those mergers where you have collaboration. So it's going to be a lot better than what one person could do. It's in those mergers where, because those areas overlap in the church, hopefully less people fall through the cracks because we're there together doing things. And so I hope you experience that with some of the things of like, well, whose job is this? Like Jeff's doing this, but I'm standing up at this point. And so like, as you and I work together closely, we get that better relationship and the church is better because of it. And same thing with you and Matt and the way technologies overlap and exist. And we kind of figure it out as we go. And so some of those things, maybe to those that are listening or watching, you're like, well, who do I go to when something's broken? When a piece of technology is broken? I'd say first go to Brian.
Yeah.
And then Brian might be like, I don't know, I'll ask Matt.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, give me a little bit of time to figure it out. But those are one of those things that's like, hey, this is who we are. It's part of our DNA as a church.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. Because we definitely do have a team approach to things here at NCC and how it works. And so, well, Brian, before we go, anything else to add?
I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be part of the family here at NCC. This first week here has been amazing. And all the people that I've met at Thursday service and the Sunday services, everybody has been so amazing and just so open arms to me and my wife joining here. Cool. And we're so excited to be here.
Yeah. I mean, we do have a great church. We have some people that will definitely love on you. And if you guys need anything, there's a lot of people to surround you now and kind of lift you up as your church family. And so raising 3 kids in this church family, I know we have other church mom and dads and church grandparents and all of that. So church cousins, they have church cousins. So it is a great place to raise a family. And so I'm glad you felt that a little bit already. And we're excited to keep hearing from you on the podcast as we come up with new episodes and different things. But If you're out there and you haven't met Brion yet, make sure you stop by one of our services either Thursday night at 7 o'clock or Sunday at 8:45 or 10:30 and say hi to Brion and Miranda and just welcome them to the area and to the church family, and just really excited you're on board with us. Yeah, all right, guys, thanks for listening to another episode of NCC Unplugged.
Thank you for tuning in to NCC Unplugged. If you've enjoyed our podcast, please be sure to rate and review it and share it with your friends and family. If you are interested in learning more about Norwin Christian Church, visit our website at norwinchristianchurch.com. We also invite you to join us at NCC for one of our 3 services. Sundays at 8:45 and 10:30 a.m. and Thursdays at 7 p.m. We have engaging classes for all ages, ensuring there is something meaningful for everyone in our church community. Thanks once again for listening, and we hope you have a great week.